Another poor piece of audio, another poor explanation from the head of the PGMOL in Howard Webb. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, I was debating whether to put this video out today. Really debating whether to put this video out today. It is of course my response to what was Howard Webb reacting to and justifying why the referees and referees and VAR on the day of Liverpool versus Manchester City didn't give the seemingly Jeremy Doku foul on Alexis Mac Allister deep within injury time of that particular game that would have awarded Liverpool a penalty and potentially 3 points in a huge title clash between two top title contenders. This is of course the show where Michael Owen hosts it, and how Michael Owen ever got that job I have no idea. Maybe because he's so incredibly passive, it's unbelievable. But no, Michael Owen hosts it, and he basically asks Howard Webb to justify why the referee and the VAR on particular incidents arrived at the decision that they did on particular match days, to justify the decisions that they made. They also hear VAR audio, and we've obviously got that for us in this particular scenario, and they basically suggest why they arrived at that particular incident that they did. However, I have a few problems with not just the audio that was played, but of course Howard Webb's response to everything, because it seems so disjointed, and we seem to be heading down a horrible path of everything spiraling out of control and getting worse as far as what the refereeing standards are initially, and as well as what the usage of VAR is, and obviously the threshold that they hold VAR accustomed to. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about everything at play in... I'm not going to obviously play the clip, but I've made some notes, and obviously we're going to be talking about what was said in the audio. We're going to be talking about Howard Webb's response. We're going to be talking about my personal response, and of course everything else in between. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video, also subscribe if you're new. Both things always and very greatly appreciated, and of course get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on this particular subject down below in the comment section. I'm sure it'll make for interesting, great reading. But for now, let's get on with the video. Let's talk this situation that played out on the Michael Owen, we'll just call it the Michael Owen show, whatever, Michael Owen and Howard Webb show. Right, so I'll reiterate first and foremost, I didn't want to really make a video on this, mainly because we've all heard and talked about it, it's all been well documented, and a lot of people seemingly agree with, I wouldn't say me, but for the purposes of this video from me to you, with me, that it is a penalty. And a lot of people seem to suggest that it was a penalty. Liverpool got hard done by in this game, and that's not just coming from me, myself, a Liverpool fan, or Liverpool fans out there alike. There are also rival fans and neutral fans that are seemingly in that same boat. Of course, there are a few people that seem to suggest that the referee and VAR got it right, as there always are going to be, but for the most part, most people felt the referees and VAR in this circumstance, in this scenario, got it wrong, and that Liverpool were robbed of a stonewall penalty. I completely agree. People that don't agree, though, on the day was the referees and the VAR. So we're going to go through what exactly was said. Like I say, I was debating whether to make this or not, but seeing as though, obviously, it is a massive talking point, and seeing as though I have obviously been on this big tirade of calling out stupid inconsistencies when it comes to VAR and referees, because I do feel like it is spiraling out of control, I felt like I had to put some sort of comment into it. So, first and foremost, right off the bat, the audio for the audio on the day is the ref straight away believes it's not a foul. So basically, he puts it in the hands of VAR. He's relieving himself of all responsibility, and he's saying, I don't see it as a foul. Judging by where he was on the pitch, I'm not 100% sure you can see that as being the God's gospel truth. And whether or not, you know, maybe from another angle you could see it differently. Especially when you consider that obviously what happened was sort of blocked off by, of course, the body shape and, of course, the positioning of Alexis Mac Allister, for example. So we're not 100% sure how he could instantly say that right off the bat, but there you have it. The VAR then basically says, well, there's clear contact on the ball by Doku. Yes, there was, but Mac Allister touches the ball first, and that is key because Mac Allister touches the ball first to try and get in control of the ball, but can't because Doku's in the way. And to make matters worse, of course, Doku's foot is in a dangerous position, which also doesn't help Mac Allister take control of the ball. And as we've seen time and time again this season, just because you make a challenge and just because you get the ball first doesn't necessarily mean you escape without punishment. Just ask Curtis Jones. Just ask Casemiro. Just ask Christian Romero. Just ask Malo Gusto of Chelsea. Any of them players, and there are probably more examples out there as well. Just ask any of them players. They'll tell you, just because you make contact with the ball first and then the man on the follow-through doesn't necessarily mean you escape without punishment. This is one of those scenarios. He may get the ball second technically, but his follow-through catches Mac Allister in the chest. So I still don't understand, and I still don't understand the justification from the VAR there. They then go on to say it's a coming together. In what sense is this a coming together other than Jeremy Doku's foot in a dangerous position with studs up coming together with Mac Allister's chest? Which is dangerous play, in my opinion, which should warrant a penalty. I don't understand how this can be. I don't understand what eyes you have to see this differently to the majority of football fans. You don't have to even play the game to realise it is a bad challenge. You don't even have to play the game to realise this should have warranted a penalty. But there you have it. And then they go on to make comments about Mac Allister's body language and obviously his body positioning. And the reason why he is turning away is obviously to protect himself. So you add all of those up, and the fact that they say both are coming in high. Both are coming in high. The ball is at a height in which it's perfect for your chest or your head. And yet Doku has gone with his foot. All of this is enough evidence, in my opinion, for me to give a penalty. If I'm looking at this and I'm seeing, if this was the other way around and it was a Liverpool play, it happened on Sunday. There was, I think it was actually Mac Allister, coincidentally, who did it against a United player, and that should have been considered a free kick to Manchester United. If this happened the other way around, if this happened to anybody else, I'll be calling out the same thing. All of this, to me, when I look at it, is a stonewall penalty. It's a foul. It would be a foul anywhere else on the pitch. It doesn't make a difference if it's in the box or not. It is a foul. All of it is clear enough evidence. But for whatever reason, the VAR and the people that were operating VAR on the day looked at all of these different things and arrived at the same conclusion that there wasn't enough evidence to give a penalty, despite the fact that everything that they said had a justifiable reason behind it as to why they were wrong, as to why their eyes are not seeing the bigger picture, the full picture, even though they have numerous camera angles, even though they have numerous ways to slow the play down and speed the replays up. They have everything and all the tools at their disposal to see this as what it really is, and yet they are not using it properly and are seeing things completely differently to the vast majority of people. And I ask you this, if they are in the vast minority of people, why are they in charge? Because if they can see things differently to us, and we're just casual fans, how the hell are they in charge? Why the hell are they in charge? It completely baffles me, all of that being said and done. And then Howard Webb comes out. A week and a half later, they have this show. They have the audio play. They have Michael Owen sat there looking completely stupid in his stupid suit and whatever, presenting the show, offering no challenge, offering nothing, but just a very passive, yes, Mr. Webb, no, Mr. Webb, 3 bags full, Mr. Webb, sort of approach to his show. And Webb goes on this justification, this very weak, may I add, justification as to why the VAR and the referees got it right on the day. he said right off the bat, and this was the best part about it. This was the best part. He really lays it down with this statement. Basically saying that either way, if the referee had given it, it would have been check complete. If the referee hadn't given it, they were right to still give the check complete. How can that be possible? How can you have something that is either clearly yes or clearly no, both be correct depending on what the decision on the pitch was? What you're saying there is, if the referee had given it, it's a penalty. If the referee had not given it, it's not a penalty. What's the point of VAR then? What is the point of VAR then? Why not just scrap VAR completely and just have the referee call it on the pitch? We won't be as angry then. We'll still be frustrated that the referee couldn't see it properly, and we'll still be frustrated that the referee and the linesman didn't obviously give the right appeal, but at least then we wouldn't be mad at VAR. There'd be nothing to be mad at there. What is the point? What is the point of it? How can you have that as well? How can you have the head of the PGMOL come out with that level of poor justification as to a decision, and a key decision at that could, I mean, it still could determine the Premier League whether it was given or not, but a big moment in the Premier League title race between two top title contenders. How can you have this sort of carefree, well, if it was given, it's a penalty. If it's not given, it's not a penalty. I don't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. And not only that, but if the VAR have already said there's no clear evidence to suggest that was a penalty, then surely it should have been overturned if he'd have given it. So him coming out and saying that it would have been check complete whether he gave it or not for the on-field decision to stand is ridiculous. It's stupid. And this guy's got no idea what he is doing. He's clearly got no idea what he's doing or what he's saying. Bearing in mind, they have had a week and a half to come up with some sort of answer or justification as to why this wasn't given. And this is the best response he could give? Really? This is your guy? This is your god of VAR and refereeing? He says the ball is too low to head. I find that ridiculous. Too low to head, but good enough to do a kung fu kick into someone's chest. Why not go for your chest then? That's the whole point of having that as a legal maneuver in the game. Go with a chest or stoop low to go with your head, maybe. What you're basically saying there is that if he stoops low to go with his head, it's alright for him to kick his head off because he shouldn't have had his head so low. Shouldn't have had his chest that high then. Make it make sense, Howard. And then he says there's no play on the ball from Mac Allister. Well, of course there's not, because he's protecting himself from having his head or chest kicked in. He's trying to protect himself. He's not playing the ball because the ball touched him first, and then he's seeing Doku flying in at him, and he's trying to protect himself. So, of course, there's no play on the ball. Look at the bigger picture. That's the whole point of VAR. It's madness to me. It's an absolute madness, and it's an absolute madness that this entire thing has come out the way that it has. His response, the VAR and the booth response to everything that was seeing right there in the moment. I'm praying that that was the original footage. I'm praying that that was the original audio that they played, because if it wasn't, and it was edited in some way to try and justify the complete car crash that it was, what the hell? Who the hell is employed? Who the hell are they employing over there at the PGMOL? What the hell is going on? I've got no idea what they are doing, or what they're trying to what they're trying to do over there. It's a madness to me. But my overall point to this is that I believe VAR was going backwards. When it first was brought in, I saw it as something that needed to be ironed out a few of the issues, and obviously that was never gonna be perfect right off the bat. But we seem to be going backwards. Every single week we seem to have a decision that goes wrong, a a VAR call that goes wrong, the usage of it that's wrong, the standard of refereeing that is seemingly going backwards, and it's all happened under this guy's management of it all. Like, it was bad for years, but it seems to be getting worse and worse this year. And the past couple of years, like, it seems to just be going worse, and it seems to be just be getting out of control. And, you know, when you have him come on this show with Michael Owen, it's like a crossover of watching paint dry mixed with watching the grass grow. It's ridiculous and stupid. But when you have him come out on this, and that's the best justification for the usage of VAR that he can come up with, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. There seems to be no accountability for their mistakes. There seems to be no holding their hands up and going, look, we made a mistake here. It probably was a penalty, but we're looking at ways to try and make the laws of these kinds of things crystal clear so that we don't have any inconsistencies in the future. Anything like that. Not perfect for Liverpool fans right now, but at least in the future we can at least try and sort these kinds of situations out. Instead, we just get this absolute dribble about ridiculous, non-justifiable things that, you know, that make absolutely no sense and completely contradict what the VAR, who they just listened to in the audio, was saying. It makes absolutely no sense. VAR is not there anymore, in my opinion, to protect the players, to protect the integrity of the game, to protect anyone else other than the referees and the VAR, so that if they make a shocking decision, to protect the referees, so that if they make a shocking decision, they can somewhat justify it. They can't get away from something that's set in stone, like the Liverpool one against Tottenham that we all know about, for example. But for these kinds of things, they can justify it. They can find the weakest possible argument. And that's basically all it is. They defend their on-field referees, and they defend the VAR's decision with these kinds of shows that Howard Webb is on constantly. And they give the weakest argument. They produce the weakest of arguments to try and justify it. And stupid fans will sit there and they'll go, yes, Howard, I agree, Howard, Liverpool shouldn't have had the penalty, no, or so-and-so shouldn't have had a penalty, or so-and-so shouldn't have been red carded, or whatever the case may be. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, I don't understand it. The response was so weak. The fact that it was 10 days, I think it was like 10 days after the actual game itself, something like that, 9-10 days. There was a week and a half between this show and the game. They had 9 days to come up with something to get the fans on side and happy with, and this is the best that they could come up with. That audio was terrible. Was it edited? It honestly wouldn't surprise me if it was. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. I'm not trying to start any kind of conspiracy theory. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if this audio was edited to make it sound slightly better than what it may have been. And this was already bad. So imagine what the pre-edited version would have been if obviously what I'm saying is true. And then to top it all off, there's absolutely no challenge whatsoever from Michael Owen. He doesn't step in at any moment to try and argue Howard Webb's point. He doesn't try at any point to try and say, well, hang on a minute, Howard, just because he got the ball to an extent, he also follows through. Surely that should be a foul, right? Because so-and-so's had it, like I said with Curtis Jones and Casemiro and whoever else I've said. There was no challenge whatsoever from Michael Owen. Absolutely no challenge whatsoever. And it just makes me think that Sky and TNT and whoever else are loving this whole title race situation. They love the drama of it all because it stirs up this kind of response from people like me and people that have done it, I probably will admit, much better than what I have. In that kind of response and that kind of scenario and setting. They love all of that stuff because it draws attention, it draws more clicks and views and all of that stuff. But the integrity of the game, who cares about that, right? Who cares about that? There's no challenge from Michael Owen whatsoever. And we're just made to sit there and accept it. And it's completely ridiculous to me. And it is absolutely ridiculous that we don't get anything of that nature. We just get this guy putting together a terrible argument that easily folds if anybody with half a brain or with someone with the guts to challenge would actually go there and challenge him for it. But yet the only source we have of challenge is in the form of Michael Owen, who is so incredibly passive and so incredibly unchallenging that there's no point of him being there. It might as well just be called the Howard Webb Show, in which he just talks for about 2 hours and praises referees and VAR for doing what he thinks is right, but at the same time justifies it in a way that suggests it's not right. So there you have it. It's ridiculous. It's pointless. We've got another terrible VAR decision. We've got another terrible justification and argument for why the VAR decision was given. And yet we are no closer to answering any of the questions about what VAR actually does, why it's in the game, and how good are our referees actually. No answers to those kinds of questions, and a lot more. We just have more questions than answers. So ridiculous, pointless, stupid, and rant is now over. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of anything and everything that I talked about in regards to Howard Webb, VAR, and everything else in between? Would love to know what you guys think and feel. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. Very interesting reading down below, I'm sure. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always incredibly greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. I'll see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Speak to you all again very soon.